Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Sorry for my late announcement yesterday, kind of got away from me. So, this week we're on Module 12. We're talking about nutrition concerns in children. And so, this runs the gamut from things like undernutrition, anemia, food insecurity, concerns with overweight or obesity. And so, there's some very controversial things that we're going to address in discussion this week. So what I've shared there is the new overweight and obesity guidelines for young children that came out just earlier this year in January. They're have caused a lot of controversy. There are a lot of people who are really upset with the approach of these and some things that are included. There's definitely some improvements that they've made in there, but some pretty big pushback from a lot of experts in different fields. And so I've shared those, and then I've also shared an example of one of those kind of counterpoint arguments that call out some of the things that some people consider problematic in those guidelines. And so that is what you're going to talk about in discussion for this week. Keep in mind, this is a really tricky subject. It's a really challenging subject. It's something that there's a lot of emotion tied to, both, for really any individual, but especially people who may have experienced some challenges related to this, either growing up or in their own families. So make sure that you are choosing your words carefully, be kind, try not to be judgmental, try to be really conscientious of how difficult this topic is. And so that is for your discussion for this week. And then in the other assignment you do have a second assignment this week. This is going to be the first 1-day menu. And you will use this menu for your final project as well. You'll have a whole day finished once you address any feedback that I give you on this assignment. So make sure that you follow the rubric, look to see what's expected, follow those guidelines closely. One note that I will make, I browsed through your other menus and took a look at the different things there. I know Natasha already sent you grades back on those, but some of the things that I wanted to make sure to point out, make sure that you are following portion guidelines closely, because really there's a lot of variation that can happen within a facility, but the goal of this is to make like a standardized menu that you might make for a whole facility to use. And in that lens, like, once you have a menu on an individual basis, there might be people who have adjustments made or they might have extra portions. But what you're really going for is you want to be able to create a menu that would meet guidelines for reimbursement, really. So make sure that you have met all of the criteria in the guidelines. Without a lot of extra in the menu. Again, you can always have extra things in a facility, but the menu should just reflect what is approved and what's recommended. And also keeping in mind, too, that if you're serving this menu to a large group of people, all the extra things you had, that's a significant amount of added cost if you're multiplying that by however many students are in a facility. So keeping in mind that individualization can still occur, we want this menu to be more of like a standard what's approved for the facility, if that makes sense. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to talk through any of this with you, and I'll give you detailed feedback on this to make sure that you are as ready as possible to do the final 5-day menu that you'll have at the end of the semester. So hopefully you all have a interesting, enjoyable time with this process. Please feel free to reach out if you need any assistance. I hope you all have an awesome week.